Good afternoon. My name's Remy. I'm Diedre's younger brother, baby brother, she likes to say. So on behalf of Diedre and Alex, I want to welcome you. Thanks so much for being here. Obviously, this is very special to them that you're here. I read once that a source of a river never knows the impact that it has. Think about that. The source, the beginning of a river never knows the impact that it has as it goes down its way. If you think about the Mississippi River, it starts in Minnesota, where I come from, and it's just a little creek, you can jump over it. And that source of the river, it never knows. It never understands the impact that it has as it goes and works all the way down to New Orleans, where it's a mile wide, right? And in the same way, no one really knows the impact of a life, right? When you start out, you have no idea the impact that you're going to make on other people. Not only in your lifetime, but in the lifetime that follows you as well. We touch people in ways that we never know about. And that's called a legacy. And that's why Diedre and Alex chose to do these celebrations. This is our third one now. These celebrations before Diedre passes, because she wants to see just a little glimmer of how she has impacted different people. But probably more than that, more importantly, she wanted to just thank everyone in her life for the impact that you have all made on her. Now, this is a special event because it's not often you get to go to a celebration of life where the person that you're celebrating is actually here, right? That's special, but you need to realize that this is much more than a celebration of life, okay? This is a production. All you theater people know what I'm talking about. Leave it to Diedre to turn it into a production with a cast of characters, song, drama, and even acrobatic demonstrations. And of course, she's the star of this production, right? I'm just afraid she's going to want to take this on the road. So we're going to hear from a number of people today, but we're going to start with the leading lady, so would you welcome her as she comes up.
Oh my goodness. Lisa, I need a light. Water, thanks. I have so many angels in my life. You are all of them. No, I take that back. You are some of the angels. This dear one is my sister-in-law, Lisa. Thank you. I need light. And I had my speech was all set to go. And I got through my rehearsal, my 50th rehearsal. And when I got through to it, I was just near the end, and it flipped on me, and I got lost. Well, that happened at Celebration 2, and people didn't know if I was verklempt, or if I was lost, or if I had lost it. And so I decided this time I better go to print and take the technology out of it. So bear with me. I don't see quite as well. So Lisa, one of my many angels, is going to hold the light for me. So, not dead yet. And those of you who are lucky enough to have gotten a button, she's not dead yet, can attest to it. Wear those buttons until I am. That, for those of you who don't know, is from one of my favorite plays, who Alex taught me to appreciate Monty Python. I had not. I had to learn to like him. Not Alex, Mike. Anyway, Spamalot came out, quite a few years ago, when Mom and I used to go to New York together every year. And when Spamalot opened, there were buttons being sold. I'm not dead yet. And I laughed. I thought, oh my God, that's like, represents so much. It's carpe diem. It's just everything. Not to mention funny. And of course, funny is the most important. So I got the button and I gave it to Alex. And then years later, I got diagnosed with cancer, and I said, you remember that button I gave you? He goes, yeah. I said, I think I need that. So I've been wearing that button proudly for about 7.5 years. And I don't know if you caught it in the clips, but Carol Erickson is a good friend, and she was at a workshop recently in New York and noticed that one of the speakers was from Minnesota and looked at his resume, and it said in the original cast of Spamalot. And program, Spamalot. She told him my story, and he said, oh, let's make her a video clip. So Amal just added it. Amal, wave your hand. Mr. Techie for the day. Thank you very much. He's going to make sure everything's what we need. But anyway, thank you for being here. I so appreciate having this kind of support and having you all help me to celebrate still sticking around and not being dead yet. Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Lowe wrote a beautiful song for Brigadoon, one of my favorite musicals. This is hard to say, but as I wandered through the lay, I felt for just a fleeting moment that I was suddenly free of being lonely. And I closed my eyes and saw the very reason why. I saw a man with his head bowed low. His herd had no place to go. I looked and I thought to myself with a sigh, there, but for you, go I. I saw a man walking by the sea. Alone with the tide was he. I looked and I thought as I watched him go by, there, but for you, go I. Lonely men around me trying not to cry, till the day you found me. There among them was I. I saw a man who had never known a love that was all his own. I thought, as I thanked all the stars in the sky, there but for you go I. This room, beautiful people, showing up to celebrate a 73-year-old woman might make you think or doubt that she was ever a lonely person. Some of you knew me as Pat Diedre, but today No matter how you call me, you know me now as Diedra K. Alexander. So this is the rest of the story. If you know anything about me at all, you know I am passionate about theater. Since I was 4 years old, little Patty Diedre held the hand of Barbara Diedre as she entered the doors of Bloomington Civic Theater and watched rehearsals of the upcoming show in the wings as my mommy rehearsed on stage. Other days I might sit in the box office and listen for the phone to ring as people bought their tickets, or I'd help paint scenery or collect pages to be stapled in the program. I learned everything about the theater while getting to spend lots of time with my mom. In the evenings, after dinner, I'd watch my sister practice her dance steps, and twice a week, I'd watch her dance lessons. Often I'd spontaneously join her. The instructor enjoyed my antics so much that she incorporated me as comic relief during the recitals. Patty was a happy little girl. My first year in school was scary, but exciting. I loved my teacher, Miss Winterfield, at Bloomington's Westwood Elementary School. Next to my mother, I thought she was the prettiest woman I'd ever seen, since she was kind and understanding, and she knew how to make every day special. But things began to change the following year. My brother and sister were advancing well through school, but I was struggling. At 7 years old, I still couldn't read and didn't understand what others were learning. The only time of the weekdays I enjoyed were the bus rides to and from school, when we would sing songs on the bus and in gym class or recess. The rest of the day was torture. I felt isolated and lonely. These are the years of being Pat Diedre. I look forward to my dance classes after school, and a few times when the teachers would let us act out a story or sing songs. I joined the band and I worked on student council. I would help the teachers wherever I could so they would still like me, despite being a poor student. Although I liked my small circle of friends, there always were arguments on the playground and tears at recess. Pat Diedre was not a happy girl. When I progressed to junior high school, I had managed to maintain average grades, which allowed me to try out for the school play. I didn't tell anyone of my plan, but when I read the audition notice on the student activities board, I saw the play was to be The Red Shoes. It was about a lonely girl who was taken over by the power of red shoes. The role required someone who could dance. Oh my, theater and dance combined. I was beside myself. I auditioned. I got the role, the leading role. I was thrilled. I worked very hard learning all my lines and kept up with my studies. School was suddenly the place I wanted to be, and loved the people I worked with in the play. And my director was a great teacher who was patient and kind. The play play was a success and everyone told me I was very good. I finally felt like I belonged somewhere. I started dreaming about being an actress. I would change my name. In elementary school, my girlfriends and I would write our names using the boy's last name to see what it would look like when we got married. Mrs. So-and-so. But now I wanted a special name. One that people would hear and they wouldn't mistake me for anyone else. I wanted one name like Cher had. I loved my last name, but I never liked my first name, Pat. It was boring. I wanted something to make people curious, something to stand out and be special, like I felt when I was on stage. And that's when Diedre was born. I just flipped the E-R and Diedre. And my special name stuck, just like my teeth are sticking right now. Diedra. I didn't tell anyone, but I wrote it all the time. And every time I wrote it, I saw Diedre as a strong and confident woman who could do anything she put her mind to. She was who I wanted to become. Someday, I would introduce her to Broadway, where I intended to go after high school. I continued to be known as Pat Diedre to the outside world, but internally, I was becoming Diedre. I graduated from high school as a much more confident and accomplished person. I never did become a good student, so I kept my ambition to head to New York to become an actress. But my parents had other plans. There was no question I would go to college. Despite my average grades and low test scores, my mom was convinced I could get accepted at the college in Michigan where both she and her mother graduated from. Mom assured me they had a good theater department where she had been quite the star in her day, and they would welcome another thespian. If I still wanted to head to Broadway after graduation, my parents wouldn't stand in my way. So they won. Diedre stayed in my head for another 4 years, but her character continued to develop. Fast forward to graduation from college, a 15-year teaching and administration career in education, and many choices being made with many changes. Theater continued to be important, but more as an audience member or through community theater involvement. Diedre existed only in my head. New curiosities developed as the Title IX movement began seeking women for leadership roles. These opportunities were intriguing to me, and I liked the freedom that making more money would give me. I moved into the corporate world and kept developing my competencies. I was now seeing my theatrical talents, or using them, in a broader scope as I took on national speaking roles to promote technology and education. And with all my travel for work, I started going to New York every year, because business would take me, of course. I spent much time in the audience of the theater. I never lost my passion for Broadway, and I continued to see Diedra in lights. By the late 80s, I was tiring of the fast pace of my life. I was still quite lonely. I was ready to find a partner and settle down. I was ready. I decided the men in my life were shallow and competitive, and my relationships were short-lived, unfulfilling. I had an opportunity to take a job in Minnesota. I have a good page turner. That would combine my knowledge of the education system with the integration of technology. I was intrigued with the opportunity to return home and do something I felt would contribute to the world of education. Shortly after my move, I broke off relationships with bad choice people and started therapy for focusing on a healthier me. I picked better friends who were more interested in who I was and less interested in what I could do for them. And then I met an understated man who was kind, confident, funny, well-liked by a variety of people, an athlete, an intellect, and easy on the eyes. Oh yes, and he was tall. He checked all my boxes. I met Alex on January 2nd, 1988. Alex was his nickname, because he didn't like his given name of Stu. It was a common nickname for his last name of Alexander. I told him I never liked my given name either, but I had a special name that I called myself because it spoke more to who I wanted to be. Alex said he'd like to call me by that name. So Diedra finally got a voice. Shortly after that, Alex and I decided to leave our jobs and explore the broadcasting world. We got our licenses at Brown Institute, took jobs in radio and cable TV. We started our own magazine show and aired it in 70 communities surrounding the Twin Cities area. Diedra Kay and Alex Stewart were now official stage names. We pursued our dreams under our new tags. We stayed curious and were conscious to make good choices moving forward. We got married in July of 1991, and we've grown more in love each of our 31 years together. I checked, I asked him. Alex taught me the importance of hanging on to good friends. Diedre would have been a lonely secret had he not encouraged me to share her and celebrate her. I feel the love and support in this room because of my connection with this amazing partner of mine. Those lonely people in the Lerner and Lowe song, they're but for you, Alex, go I. And how did I meet this wonderful partner? God selected him for me. I didn't know it at the time, but I grew to know it. January 11th, 2012, I stared at my partner who was laying in the ICU in a deep sleep with tubes attached to every orifice in his face. He had just had major heart surgery. Machines were pumping. Nurses were scurrying and asking me to leave.
I said I was sorry, but I had a hold of his hand and I wasn't letting go. Not until he opened his eyes. I knew my heart was tied to this man, and if he did not breathe on his own, I wouldn't be able to either. I had always felt the presence of God in my life, but I never felt his power over me like I did in those moments in the ICU. The nurse empathized with me. She saw my level of desperation and knew we needed to be together. She said she would take care of things and not to worry. I could stay with him. I'd leave my head in Alex's hand, and I prayed to God with all my conviction of love and devotion, and I promised him I would be eternally grateful and loyal to him if he would please bring Alex back to me. And Alex's eyes opened. He smiled at me. He squeezed my hand, and he indicated he wanted to write me a note. He wrote 2 things. This too shall pass. God love him. And we're getting that RV. In my head, I was jubilant. We were alive, and all because of God. I never forgot my promise to honor and be loyal to God, but I was struggling with what that meant, and I wasn't yet comfortable calling myself a Christian. Alex and I bought that RV at the end of the year 2012. Both Mom and Dad had passed away by then, and the economy was such that it was more economical for us to retire and collect my pension than it was for us to keep our theater company afloat. We closed our theater, packed up the RV in April, and for the next 3 years, we toured all Major League Baseball parks. We camped. Well, you know baseball had to come first. We camped in 38 states. We saw a multitude of theater across the country. I made him see a show for every ball game I had. Including 9 Broadway shows. And we started visiting national parks in the West. On Labor Day of 2015, we were in the ER in Twin Falls, Idaho, after I'd had weeks of battling diarrhea and ultimately found blood in my stool. After an emergency colonoscopy on September 10th, our lives changed with those infamous words, "You have cancer." Immediate surgery was required that would be scheduled in Twin Falls, or we could wait a week and return to Scottsdale. So my 6-week recovery would be in my own bed instead of the RV. We opted to return home. Following the surgery, they found the cancer had already spread to my colon, from my colon to my liver, and metastasized to my left clavicle. I figured something special out though. You see, a lot of people think this is my shoulder. It's not. This is a tumor. And if the tumor weren't there, I'd be sloped. So another gift. I have a great big tumor that acts like a shoulder, so much that you all come up and pat me on my tumor. It's not a shoulder, but it's all right, it doesn't hurt to the touch. They used to, didn't it, Alex? As a stage 4 survivor, my best case scenario at that time was 2 years to live. Well, that's what Google said anyway. Alex and I discussed whether we wanted to share the news with our friends and family and look for their support and help them understand what life with cancer could look like. Or if we wanted to keep it quiet and work through this new life on our own. Well, we quickly agreed that we would maintain hope and confidence and bring our friends in and our family to know the awareness of what living with cancer looked like and to count on their support to help us through the tough times, including facing the end of life. Because guess what? You're all gonna die. I don't have the elite ticket. So 2 years passed, and then my prognosis changed to 5 years. But then the options for treatment became less, and finally last summer, after trying numerous treatments and experimental trials, there was nothing else to try that would deter the growth of the cancer. My side effects were getting so numerous, and my body was starting to tire. We decided in August of 21 to stop all treatments, except I would continue to get fluids 2 to 3 times a week so that we could keep my body hydrated. I was given 6 months to live and told I would not be returning to Minneapolis in 2022. But God had a different plan for me. I decided I needed to address my bucket list, and at the top of that list was to make a better connection with God if I could. I tried reading the Bible many times over the past 10 years, but nothing captured my attention or understanding. One of my good friends tried to help me meet my objective and sent me the Dummies book to reading the Bible, as well as a leather-bound copy of the Message. She thought these tools might be helpful. I started to read them both on a number of occasions, but I still never connected. Then last summer, I was saying goodbye to one of my childhood friends who remembered I said I wanted to read the Bible before the end of my life, and I was running out of time. She suggested that we meet over Skype once a week and read the Bible together. So we did. Well, I've not finished reading the Bible, and it's been a year. We're still doing it every week. Reading the Bible, that is. As I learned more about what Jesus believed and shared, I came to an honest desire to want to follow his word. I saw the series, The Chosen, which tapped into my theatrical learning style. And I could see I wanted to follow the teachings of man, God, Spirit. Finally starting to make sense to me. His word spoke to everything I was living and that Alex and I had committed to living with cancer these past 7 years. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 15 through 18. The Message version of the Bible says, "So we're not giving up. How could we? Even though on the outside it often looks like things are falling apart on us. on the inside where God is making new life. Not a day goes by without his unfolding grace. These hard times are small potatoes compared to the coming good times, the lavish celebration prepared for us. There's far more here than meets the eye. The things we see now are here today, gone tomorrow. But things we can't see now will last forever. God finally made sense to me. Jesus' words came to life. I made the connection with God that I'd always wanted to have. So today I stand before you, saddened to say goodbye, but I'm excited about my future. This has been an amazing year for me to celebrate my life and love of God, family, and friends. That's it. That's all you have to do is just love those three things. Being a terminally ill survivor of cancer for more than 7 years has been one of the most amazing gifts I've ever received. I've been given opportunities that I never realized I could have or want. I've developed a sincere and strong relationship with God. It has helped me to make my most important choices. Look at the angels show up. They just come and take care of me. Yeah. Oh, it's just oxygen. Oh, God. Okay. All right. So I've taken stock of what is most meaningful and given time to those priorities. I've chosen kindness and love, along with determination and persistence, to move through my toughest days, and joy and gratefulness to celebrate my good times. I've spent more of my time these past 7 years making memories instead of buying things, or sharing with others over earning for myself, and building character more than competencies. I've given my focus to a life of love for God, my husband, my cats, my family, and my friends. I'm secure in this love, and I know it will serve me as I pass from this life to whatever comes next. I trust and welcome my next journey without fear. I rejoice in all that I've experienced in this life, and I'm comforted most of all by the love and opportunities that I've had to be in your life and for you to be in mine. I leave you with a challenge to live your life with curiosity and the appreciation of making choices. Having this afternoon together is something many people don't get to choose when death comes suddenly. The gift of preparation is one of the many gifts cancer has given me. Within every wreckage, there is an important opportunity to find the treasures. It's something Judy and I have said to each other for 4 years. Be curious about the wreckages you encounter ahead and choose to see the treasures that are hiding within. Raymond Carver asked himself in his final poem, Last Fragment, "And did you get what you wanted from this life? Even so, I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved, to feel myself beloved on this earth. Thank you. And I leave you with all my love, that you can feel this way too when you celebrate your life. I love you all. Thank you for being here.
We're going to watch a video presentation that was put together by one of us. I said that wrong. Just watch this and enjoy it.
Sunlight fell and reminded me life can be so gracious sometimes. And I felt like everything around me was connected somehow. At night I hear the rhythm of the ocean as it breaks on the shore. And I think about all the things that I am grateful for. They say, hold on to the ones you love, keep them close to you. They say, hold on to this time we have, and let the light shine through. Sometimes I get a little bit emotional when I see love unfold. Two hearts bound by reflections of the memories they'll forever hold. They say, hold on to the ones you love, keep them close to you. They say, hold on to this time we have, and let the light shine through. There are They say, hold on to the ones you love, keep them close to you. They say, hold on to this time we have, and let the light shine through.
Well, over the last 7 years, I think one of the things that stood out to Diedre was that she just really wanted to seize the day, of course, and improve her connections with everybody. She wanted to improve her connections with God, as she already talked about, with her friends and with her family, and that's what she's really worked hard at doing. That's probably why some of you are here, because she's been working at those connections. We're going to start with, so we're going to take those three different areas, God and friends and family, and have people representing those areas talk about their relationship with Diedra. And so the first person we're going to hear from is Tim Ciccone, who's her pastor up in Minneapolis, who she still stays in touch with just online. So we can hear from Tim.
Greetings, friends. My name is Tim Ciccone, and I'm the lead pastor at New City Covenant Church in Edina, Minnesota. And greetings, Diedra. It is good to see you over video today, and I thought you would get a kick of all the snow that we've had here in Minnesota over the last 24 hours. And let me just take a minute to say what an honor it is to be a part of this celebration of life, a life that has been well lived. I am very honored to join the many voices that tonight will celebrate Diedra, her family, her husband, and I just want to say thank you, Diedra, for giving not only myself as a pastor at a church, but our church community the opportunity to be a part of your journey. Diedra and I have only had that chance to get to know each other for the last 2 months, but the scripture verse that really comes to mind when I think about the brief moments that we've had with Diedra comes out of 2 Thessalonians, when it says, and I'm paraphrasing, because we loved you so much, we delighted in sharing the gospel of God and our lives together with each other. And that really has been our story with Diedra. We have already in these last 2 months, in a great way, seen the hand of God work with Diedra joining our church, telling her story. I have seen people who have gone deeper in their faith with the Lord because of Deidra's story of faith and commitment to the Lord. And so I'm honored to be a part of it. And Diedra, I just want to say thank you for your heart for the Lord, for your heart for your family, for your heart for your community, your love of the arts. I just love it. And I want to pray that today you would feel honored and that you would look back on a life well lived. Again, thank you, friends, for the opportunity to be a part of this. God bless you in the celebration of life, and have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Tim looks so cold, that nose is so pink. I love that. So now, that was her connection, representing her connection with God. Now we want to turn to her connection with her friends. And so we have 5 people who are going to be sharing. And the first person to share is Sarah Oswald. She's a longtime friend. She worked with DK Diedra way back in NCS. So come on.
Diedra and I have been friends through our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. When we get together now, the past several years, we look forward to sitting and sipping tea very slowly, very slowly. The emphasis is on being slow. We talk slow, and we even remind ourselves to blink slowly. This started before the cancer years. It hasn't always been like that. We also had some margarita years. We met in the 1980s in the corporate world in Minneapolis. We wore suits, stockings, proper shoes to work every day. Our suits were colorful, of course, and we had a different outfit each day of the week. We shared the highs, challenges, and lows of these years and became very good friends. Her suit was yellow, mine was red. We decided once to run instead of dieting. Diedra ran on the paths and sidewalks around her apartment complex. Serious runners that we were, we signed up to do an out-of-town event drove to Wisconsin, stayed overnight in a motel, got up the next morning and ran a 5K with a mob of people. We finished it. After her first round of chemo, I will repeat this, after her first round of chemo, Diedre announced she wanted to walk a half marathon. The Phoenix Rock and Roll Marathon worked with our training schedule. We trained together, she in Phoenix and I in San Diego. We shared long phone calls during our long training walks. Shortly before race day, Diedre called to say that she, nieces Becca and Nicole, who would be walking with us, had decided, without my vote, that we would all wear matching tutus and Superwoman headbands for 13.1 miles. At mile 12, a van with race officials was gathering in stragglers as the course needed to be closed. The nieces explained to the officials why Diedre needed to finish this event. I looked over my shoulder. Diedre, in a burst of energy, had taken off and already rounded the next corner. I caught up with her, the nieces joined us, and we crossed that finish line. Diedre, whenever I raise my cup of tea, slowly of course, I will forever think of you with love, gratitude, laughter, and great joy.
Representing the theater world is Joe Gimmel.
I met Diedre about 18 years ago. I watched a play about some crazy Minnesota couple who just arrived in Arizona for Christmas. It was really funny. Alex had written the play, Diedre had directed it. There were many Christmas Carol parodies. I remember Sheriff Joe being referenced in one of them, not who you'd immediately think of when considering shepherds and angels. I love theatre. It was theatre that drew me to Diedre, and years later, that play featured in a Christmas festival we both worked on, and our friendship blossomed. I own a tea room. One day, Diedre brought her mum for tea, as they were planning a theatre trip to London. I had lots of touristy suggestions for them, but it sounded like there would be little time for sightseeing. So many shows. Unfortunately, Deirdre's mum wasn't able to make the trip to London, and as Diedre sat at our home with Alex one evening, she wondered out loud, who would ever want to see 14 plays in 7 days? Me! I'll go! Pick me! And that started our trips to the London Theatre District and our love affair with Benedict Cumberbatch. He doesn't actually know that, and neither do our husbands. Later, inspired by a brilliant outdoor production of Macbeth that we had seen in Regent's Park, Diedre gave a presentation at a college dressed in black combat gear and talked about making Shakespeare more accessible. She was brilliant. And she has dressed up a lot since I have known her. Betty Boop, a Western saloon girl, a 1920s flapper, a queen, and she looks magnificent in a crown. Some of you may have noticed. She's knitted coats for my dogs. I have 4. She's made key lime pies, homemade breads, wins every Scrabble game with those darn 2-letter words. And pre-cancer, we'd sushi and martini. Before kicking off our high heels and running to our seats at the Herberger, we barely made it often. Diedre, I love your passion for life and your positivity, your beaming smile, and most of all, your beautiful spirit. I firmly believe in you. And you are definitely destined for greater things, which is just as well, because you know how much we both love an encore.
Bronwyn Bedano was a crafting friend of Diedre's and also coordinated volunteers recently. So, you should come up.
Well, I've only been given 2 minutes and 300 words, so here we go. Diedre and I are quite opposite in personality, in many ways. She's Marie Osmond, always put together, well-dressed, hair and makeup, just right. I'm more like Oscar Madison, although maybe not quite that messy or quite that disheveled. I adore books. Diedre's meh about books. She's a night owl. I'm in bed by 8:30, usually sleep by 9. She bakes bread, I bake cookies. I'm impulsive. Diedre is thoughtful and steadfast. I go to the dark side of everything in a nanosecond. But Diedre is the most optimistic, kind, caring person I've ever met. For the past 7 years, I've been watching, listening, and learning from you on how to be more positive. I'm not sure it's sunk in quite yet. Thank you for showing me a better way to be. But we also have many, many things in common. Our Tuesdays have become a sacred and treasured time together. I call them Tuesdays with Diedre. During these days, we've painted, crocheted, needle-pointed, sewed, or just sat and talked. And we've never been upset about canceling because life happens. We both love to bake. I've used her rolling pin to bake hundreds of Christmas cookies. We both love the theater. We both adore our furry friends, our cats. We both love to be creative. We both love our husbands very much. And in our creativity, we rarely keep these works of art and love for ourselves. We give them away the same way we give away our hearts. But most of all, we love being the boss.
Diedre worked with Judy Pearson with the second act, and she's going to come up and share with us now.
I picked my husband up in a bar. Diedre picked me up in a parking garage. For very different reasons, these pickups have been rich blessings in my life. Diedre had just been to the inaugural storytelling performance of my little nonprofit, A Second Act. She said the mission, survivors giving back to the greater good, was exactly how she wanted to spend her days. She told me she had theater experience, and I gave her a permanent title, Chief Executive of all performances going forward. And I gave her a salary 3 times my own. That was triple nothing. Diedre became passionate about A Second Act, and like we all have, proudly wears wardrobe items in Survivorship's signature color of purple. She became passionate about the Colon Cancer Alliance too, advocating for its mission of awareness and proudly wearing its signature color, blue. I really think brown is a better color for colon cancer. She has never stopped advocating and volunteering. In fact, she's accelerated. In 2021, it was Diedre's Match Walk, raising over $50,000 for colon cancer research right here at Honor Health. And now she's moved on to Diedre's Mustard Seed, helping to grow, as you heard, Edina, Minnesota's New City Covenant Church as it spreads the beautiful message of God's love. Cancer survivors live on a calendar similar to a dog's. For every year of survivorship, it's like 7 years in the real world. That makes us friends, I calculated, for 42 years, which rivals her friendship with Sarah. As survivors, we can't undo our diagnoses. I happen to believe that our life paths were chosen for us long before we were born. We were chosen for cancer. What we do with that is up to us. And some of us, as Diedre said, she stole my line, look for the treasure in the wreckage that is our cancer. Diedre is certainly one of my richest treasures. She's loved me, supported me, laughed at me and with me, scolded me, cried with me, but most of all, inspired me. Inspired me to live every second of the life we have been gifted, to squeeze out every moment, finding purpose in every breath. That is your legacy, and I promise you, I will keep calm and carry it on.
One person I've heard about probably more than anybody else is Dr. Michael Gordon. You give me my big round.
Well, thank you. I was glad I was able to get back in time. Dee arranged to have me speaking later because we were away for Thanksgiving with the kids. And she said, oh, and the celebration of life is going to be on Sunday. And I looked at my airline tickets and I went, oh no. And she said, don't worry, we'll accommodate. As I was sitting and listening, I was reminded of some experiences I've had in life. I had a mentor when I was a fellow at Sloan Kettering, whose name was Dr. Richard Gralla. And you always knew who knew Dr. Gralla because Dr. Gralla went by Dick. And when people called and said, I'd like to talk to Rich Gralla or Richie Gralla, you say, oh, you don't know Dr. Gralla. And I made the mistake on our second appointment, only once, when I called her Patricia. Because in the electronic medical record, it was still listed as Patricia. And she looked at me and went, it's Diedre. And I said, absolutely, I'm so sorry. And it used to be funny because, not that it's funny when you're in the hospital, but when Dee would be in the hospital, I was always round in the mornings. And I'd come in, and doctors would walk in, and we would be just sitting there talking, and they would say, hello, Patricia. And I'd say, oh. But we finally got it cleared out, and I was actually just looking back on some stuff, and I noticed that in EPIC, our electronic medical record, the name Patricia does not appear anywhere. No, it is Dierdra, as it should be. Our life together, our three-way life together, has really been punctuated by your helping me do what was best for you. We would sit and talk, and we would discuss scans and labs and blood work and aerial yoga. And I would say, how are you achieving the things that you want to do? And we would talk about options. We spent like this much time on options because invariably Dierdra had always kind of decided ahead of coming in what the plan was. It made it very difficult for me as an obsessive compulsive who likes to preview his notes and have the plan in mind where I can come in, but in this case I have to come in and say, well, what's the plan? and true to life, when you went back in 2021 to Minnesota, we arranged to get you back there. As you mentioned, it was tremendously difficult. You were getting hydrated and electrolytes 2-3 times a week, much to the blessing of the staff who got to interact with you because you were always a breath of fresh air when you came in, and frequently conversations carried from Monday to Thursday to Monday. It was the way everybody's talking about their Tuesdays with Dierdra. It was the same thing at Honor Health, and I know that the nurses and the staff love those times with you and Alex. It was wonderful. I think, you know, as time went on, as was just mentioned, you know, you came to me at one point, you said, you know, I want to do something. And I was like, this is a woman who does everything. What is something? And you told me that you wanted to raise money for research for colorectal cancer. And hence was born Diedre's Match Walk. And we went through the first year of it. And then this year, the virtual Match Walk, while you were again up in Minnesota this past summer, celebrating your life up there for a second successful year. But this year's had a bit more of an impact on me, only because having been diagnosed myself with an early stage pancreatic cancer in May of 21, I went through a process of trying to seek my relationship with God and understand events. I went through that process of why me? Why me who sits at the bedside of patients with cancer and takes care of them? Why should I be challenged by this? And amazingly, through the course of the wonderful care that I received at our institute, I was able to be rendered cancer-free. And then I said, why me? Why should what did I do to deserve this blessing? And I think, you know, it was about the time that you guys shared that you were going to do the second virtual Match Walk, and you did. You did your 5K, well, around 5K, I think, on your own up in Minnesota. But I came to realize that it's not about what you've done that renders what you deserve. It's what you will do with the life that lies ahead of you. So I want to thank you for helping teach me the importance of focusing on the future and caring for and loving the people that are around us. Because you've provided through your aerial yoga videos, you know, here's Diedre would come into the hospital and we'd be sitting there and the nurses would walk in and she'd be showing me a video and the nurse would say, what are you looking at? I said, oh, it's just Diedre doing her aerial yoga. And they'd be like, they had never heard of it. So it got played again and again and again. But it's really just been a wonderful experience over this 7 years from day one where you came in and we had to have those very difficult conversations which you and Alex just were so heroic in facing, and just noted that whatever we deal with, we will deal with. We'll get through it. So, you know, for myself, for all of our staff, for the entire Research Institute, for your generosity and your philanthropy, we thank you for being part of our family and for letting us be part of yours.
Well, thank you, all of you who shared. Great job. We've got a song that we just want to sit and listen to and enjoy for a few minutes.
I am surrounded on every side. Can't see the light of day, but I am persuaded beyond all hope you won't let go of me. I stake my claim on every word you say. You will not be late. I will sing through fire and thunder, 'cause you are on my side. I trust you with my life. I know my story isn't over. Even against all odds, you are a faithful God. You're faithful God. Darkest of weather, though I can't see, I still believe
So now we will hear from a couple family members, and we're going to start with Diedre's nephew, who happens to be my son, Nate Diedre.
It is an honor to be here today celebrating with all of you this amazing woman. Diedre was a big reason why I moved to Arizona almost 15 years ago, and a huge reason why I call Phoenix my home now. Moving across the country was a big leap for me, but knowing that Aunt Patty, as I called her back then, was close by gave me comfort. DK and Alex welcomed me with open arms and truly made me a part of their family. Her only request was that I was to stop calling her Aunt Patty. This was the beginning of my new understanding of who Diedre was as a woman, what she wanted. She knew what she wanted and wasn't afraid to ask for it or let you know how she felt. Food has always been a centerpiece to our family gatherings. This became even more evident when I moved here and began cooking for me. For those of you that have been lucky enough to have Diedre cook a meal for you, you know, you understand when I say you can feel the love through the food that she prepares. Every year for my birthday, she would ask what I wanted for dinner. It didn't matter what it was, or she knew how to make it. If she didn't, she'd find it as a challenge and master it. During the past 7 years, DK has truly been an inspiration. She's owned the cancer and is not afraid to speak about it and shows a lot of strength and courage. I believe this is the big reason why she has kicked this butt for so long. Her resilience and daily commitment to live in the moment is something I'll never forget. We never know how long we have with our loved ones, and she is the epitome of not taking that for granted and making time with the people that she loves. The love I feel from DK is incredible. She is truly a special person, and I'm inspired by her ability to stay in touch with family members. To see her make that daily effort to continue these relationships is truly awesome. I am lucky to have spent these past years getting to know DK on a deeper level. She is definitely the aunt that you can tell all your secrets to because you know she won't tell your parents. She asks the tough questions about your relationships, personal, friendships, family, and work. Diedre is one of the strongest, most loving, thoughtful, and energetic women that I know. She's always available to give advice. She's always available to listen. Diedre, I'm so thankful for the time that we've had over the last years to create all these great memories. You are truly amazing, and I love you.
It's hardest when you hear from the kids. So now this thing brings us to the big guy, Alex himself. Come on up here.
I gotta find Nate, Jesus. All right, 4 minutes, 250 words for those of you who are counting and going. Here are 3 of my favorite Diedre stories. Each shows a different part of her personality. Number 1, this one shows you how confident she is. It's 2006, and Diedre is on the board of directors of the Desert Foothills Theater. They're looking for fundraising ideas, so my girl blurts out, "Oh, Alex will write you a Christmas play." The excited board concurs and schedules the play for December 7th, a scant 3 months away. Now, the problem with that was Diedre had not even asked me yet. And even if I was able to write a play that fast, we'd also need a cast, props, costumes, and rehearsals, and an idea for the play. But that meant little to Diedre K. By the night of the fundraiser, she had everything ready. The place was packed. At the first punchline, the audience roared with laughter and never stopped the rest of the night. They then gave us an incredible standing ovation. It was the theater highlight of my life, although I was glad I'd never have to do that again. Or so I thought. Diedre went on to do the volunteer Alex to write something before asking me to twice more. Of course, both times they were successful. It was like living with I Love Lucy. All right, number 2, here's the funny one. We took a 2-week trip to Scotland. The only reservation Diedre made was for a small car with a stick shift. On a day trip to a small town, it started raining. The road was dirt and peat moss, making the drive very slippery. Then for some reason, the gates to the town that she wanted to visit were locked. I tried to, they were padlocked for some reason, so I tried to turn the car around. Only the road was so greasy that the car would not turn in either direction. It could only slide slowly backwards down the incline. As we sat there in the rain, a thought occurred to me and I started laughing. "What's so funny?" she asked. "Well, one of us has to get out in the rain and mud and push the car and get soaked and filthy, and you can't drive a stick shift." Here's the one which shows just how much Diedre K cares for me. I was on my way to a softball game and I began having chest pains. I called Diedre, and before I knew it, she had me in the hospital just hours away from bypass surgery. Then a nurse had me sign a form acknowledging the surgery side effects, one of which was death. That was a side effect. I began to panic. There was so much I hadn't done, plus I hadn't even said goodbye to my family, my friends, our cats. But as usual, Diedre knew the best way to help me. Late that night, while I was not sleeping, the door to my hospital room opened, and in crept Diedre K. toting a large box. "I don't care what their rules are," she whispered. And that's this place here. And with that, she opened the box and out popped Casey, my little Berman cat. It was like the Shawshank Redemption in reverse. My smile lit up the room. Casey and I played for an hour before an understanding nurse said it was time for my little friend to go home. So I turned to my wonderful wife and said, "Best present ever." I love you, DK, now and forever.
There's a quote in your program from Henry Nouwen, and I want to close with another quote. You still don't have to turn it down because I'm not reading that one. I'm reading a different one. And when I read this, I have a devotional from Henry Nouwen that I read every day, and I read it. I thought, oh, I think this really speaks for Diedre. He talks about loving people even after he dies. And he says this: "It is possible to have intimate relationships with loved ones who have died. Death sometimes deepens the intimacy. I believe that after one dies, certain people continue to be very significant for us in our hearts and through our memories. Remembering them is much more than just thinking of them, because we are making them part of our members, part of our whole being. Knowing this experience allows me to live from the deep belief that I have love to offer to people, not only here, but also beyond my short little life. When I die, love continues to be active, and from full communion with God, I am present to love those I leave behind." And I'm convinced that when Diedre passes, when she finally passes, that she'll continue to love all of us that are left behind. And she'll be a part of our lives. But as she said tonight already, she's not dead yet. So keep engaging with her, keep being involved in her life, and I love you too. Now we're going to welcome back both Diedre and Alex, because they have a poem to share with us.
Do not stand at my grave and weep. I'm not there. I do not sleep.
She is in 1,000 winds that blow. She is the softly falling snow.
I'm the gentle showers of rain. I'm the fields of ripening grain.
She is in the morning hush. She is in the graceful rush of beautiful birds in circling flight.
I'm the starshine of the night. I am in the flowers that bloom. I'm in a quiet room.
She is in the birds that sing. She is in each lovely thing. Do not stand at her grave and cry.
I'm not there. I do not die.
We've got a song from Ginny.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will live in the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in the darkest nights. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I'll give you everything. Your goodness is running me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Yes, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
I dreamt about these two singing this the night before Janine volunteered. It's just unbelievable. And you did it. Even better than I dreamt it. Thank you so much.
Come over and give you a hug, I'm sorry.
That's the second time he's knocked my. Oh, we just can't thank you all enough for being here and allowing us to share these moments with all of you. Thank you so much for keeping me alive and for being such a great part of my life. Our lives. Yes. Ooh, that's tiny. Ooh. So we have a transition sketch that's going to move us from those of you who are having to leave now at the end of the celebration, and those of you that are staying for the social. Sketch is written by Alex Stewart. I think I gave you a little bit of warning. And it's being performed by Tom Kelble, playing the role of Alex Stewart, and Elena Beloit, playing the role of Diedre Kay, and Rob Trigg, playing the role of the drunk, because he does it so well. And then they'll transition you into seeing those of you who are leaving to see April Seed, who's going to do a demonstration performance of aerial yoga. For those of you who have not seen my picture many times on Facebook as this lunatic who flies from the ceiling, she's going to show you what it looks like when it's done really, really well. And while she's doing that, those of you who are staying for the social are welcome to get your food in the hallway. And then after April does the first demonstration, those of you who are staying for the social, she's going to repeat it so that you can see the demonstration as well. And it's in dedication to all of you and all my angels that are supporting me. performed by April. Did I do it? Oh, I did it? Oh, yeah. And did I tell you Rob Trigg is a wonderful drunk? He does it so well. Okay. This is the first date of Diedra and Alex back in 1988. Oh, and, sorry, narrated by the famous Johnny Rocks, who's also our DJ, and he's going to be playing my 50 favorite songs playlist and introducing anybody that has a minute or less.
So the time is 10 a.m., January 2nd, 1988. And the location is the lobby of the posh Calhoun Beach Club in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Diedra is talking long distance to her best friend, Mary. Now this is the very short one-act play of how Diedra met Alex.
I've just about had it with this idiot dating service. All I'm meeting are super competitive three-piece suit business types who spend the entire date competing with me. Well, today is the last one, so I'm trying something different. How so? Well, I'm not dressing up. I'm wearing glasses instead of contacts. And I'm not hiding the fact that I'm a 38-year-old woman with braces. Who hint? Oh, well, you know how the service works. First you see a picture and a bio of the potential date, and then if you like what you see, you then check out the video. No, it's not computer dating. This is 1988, remember? Yeah, so today's guy's picture? Not of a guy wearing a business suit, not some young business tycoon. No, this guy was wearing, wait for it, a gorilla suit. You heard me, a gorilla suit. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes, Mary. 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 A sardine can? Oh yeah, that's right. 1988, cell phones didn't exist.
Diedra K, I assume?
King Kong, I assume?
Good one. Yeah, I didn't want to go out with anybody who didn't find that picture funny. You passed the first test.
Oh, lucky me. So what do you have planned for us today? An English tea room? Art house movie? A trip to a museum?
No, I just finished playing racquetball. I thought a walk around the Lake of the Isles would be a nice way to cool down.
A Lake of the Isles? It's 3 miles around.
Yes?
It's January in Minnesota.
Is there a problem?
It's 15 degrees.
Nah, it's not so bad. Come on, let's go.
And so education is the field I've been working in for the last 17 years, but the two things I love most in life are theater and food.
Oh, you must be crazy about dinner theater.
I wouldn't be caught dead.
I'm a fanatic of the 5 C's.
The 5 C's, Gracie?
Yeah, cats, chocolate, cinema, comedy, and Cooperstown.
Cooperstown?
I use that because there's no C in baseball.
The two young, soon-to-be lovers continue their walk. They are now startled by a man sitting on a park bench speaking very loudly to no one in particular.
It only took 27 years for the Twins to win the World Series. Now, if the freaking Minnesota Vikings could just break their 4-game Super Bowl losing streak, we'd be cooking with gas. They're bound to do that in the next 35 years. Wouldn't you say so, Bob?
This walk was nice. enjoyed that.
Surprisingly, so did I.
So, you want to go out and maybe grab some lunch?
No. I got somebody coming over to install drapes. Yeah. Install drapes, that's the ticket.
Did I just get blown off? All right, I'm gonna call one more time. And if she does, and if she says no, then I guess I'll have my answer.
Oh, and he did make that call. This time to play tennis. And thankfully, Diedra accepted. A week later, they went to the Jerry Seinfeld concert. And then finally, at Alex's annual Super Bowl party, they first shared their very first kiss. And heck, let's do one more. They shared another one. And that was pretty much it for the inseparable couple for the next 35 years. Now, Diedre and Alex went on to know many actors across the valley, but there was one particular actor that always had Diedre's eye and made her smile, and she just loved. He's narrating for you right now. His name is...
Is the cane here? Do we have a cane?
Oh, enjoy the rest of today's celebration.
me through this, don't leave me alone. Calling angels, calling angels. We're trying, we're hoping, we're hurting, we're loving, we're crying, we're calling, 'cause we're not sure how it
So April would teach me all of those poses in between, but I could never do the spinning. It would just make me too dizzy. But she'd teach me the individual poses and then try to put them together, but I couldn't do it.
I can see why you got never
She's given me so many gifted lessons. It's just
Yes, I was there. I remember.